Welcome to the Aberdeen Progress Report, a monthly look at news, issues, and ideas concerning the Aberdeen area. Kaleidoscope Media, the Aberdeen Area Chamber of Commerce, and KSFY Television are joint producers of this broadcast. Your hosts are Steve Kaiser and Kim Lean.
Tonight on the Aberdeen Progress Report, a 19-year-old Aberdonian makes news around the world as he becomes the youngest pilot to ever complete such a journey alone. On In Depth tonight, Steve explores the issue of whether Aberdeen should construct a new library. Some estimates say it will cost $11 million and isn't needed. Others say it's badly needed.
Aberdeen's Development Corporation has launched an effort to fill this parcel of land in the industrial park with new business developments. And the corporation has a new leader in Michael Borkorny, who has a business and education administration background. He talks to us on our interview of the month. Virginia Tobin and Carol Rutherford of Table of Plenty, and they'll talk about an Aberdeen effort to feed local hungry families. First, a look at last month's major news stories.
Aberdeen is taking its hat off to Matt Guthmiller. He is the 19-year-old local teen who has just set a new aviation world record. He returned to Aberdeen last week after his astonishing feat of becoming the youngest pilot to ever fly around the world solo. He greeted well-wishers at Aberdeen's regional airport after having been okayed by the Guinness Book of World Records as having accomplished his goal of traversing the planet in a light plane. He arrived back in Aberdeen on July 25th and greeted the crowd, but said little as he had signed contracts not to be interviewed by other media.
Well, I guess it's really good to be back. It's a lot of fun. It's a long trip.
Guthmiller finished the trip on July 14th in San Diego, California. His journey included 19 stops in 13 different countries over 44 days of travel. There will be some new faces leading Aberdeen into the future. First off, a new police chief is taking over. Police Captain Dave McNeil will be starting in September as chief. McNeil has been with the Aberdeen Police Department for 22 years, 15 of which have been in a supervisory role. Current Chief Don Lanfear is retiring. Aberdeen Catholic Schools has named an interim president after Joellen Lindner announced her resignation last month. Jim Mattern was asked to fill the position. He recently returned to Aberdeen after retiring. He was a teacher and administrator for many years before entering the business world. He will hold the president's position while the Aberdeen Catholic School Board finds a permanent replacement.
The Aberdeen Development Corporation has named a new head as well. After the retirement of longtime Executive Vice President Jim Berenger earlier this year, the ADC has named Michael Borkorny as their new Chief Executive Officer. We'll talk with him later on our interview of the month. Julie Johnson of Absolutely Aberdeen is also stepping down from her post as Executive Director. The Absolutely Aberdeen Executive Board has said that they are transitioning to take their work developing Northeast South Dakota to the next level. Johnson's position has not been filled yet. Absolutely Aberdeen's funding from the Aberdeen City Council has been pulled. The Absolutely Aberdeen organization was started in 2001 as a method to help grow businesses and development in Aberdeen. Monday night, the council pulled its funding of 3 organizations in the community. The council also dropped funding for Aspire, a largely state-funded effort for assisting the mentally ill, and to the Aberdeen Snow Queen Festival. Also at that meeting, the city attorney, Adam Altman, resigned, saying personal and family responsibilities prevent him from having enough time to devote to the city businesses.
The Aberdeen Development Corporation has purchased land and is developing a 291-acre tract of land just west of its current block. The ADC office is located on the East Industrial Park on Production Street North. The new site was certified ready through the Governor's Office of Economic Development. It helps businesses buy the right land for their business to use. The ADC says it's now joined by other South Dakota cities with prime building sites for businesses that wish to relocate or expand. A new hotel owned by some familiar faces is coming soon to Aberdeen. My Place Hotel will be on East 6th Avenue and Harvard Street next to the Super 8 East. My Place will be an economy extended stay hotel and will also have 2 retail spaces. The hotel chain is owned by Ron Rivet, one of the founders of the Super 8 hotels, and his grandson, Ryan Rivet, who's been working for the hotel chain for many years. The hotel will be 3 stories and have 46 rooms. The groundbreaking is scheduled for later this month and is planned to be finished by the end of the year. Aberdeen residents are now debating the idea of building a new library building in the community, and a debate it is. But some are questioning whether it's really needed, since libraries are changing with the development of digital technology. Steve sorts through the issue on tonight's in-depth report.
This building is 50 years old. It has problems. About 30% of its space is in its basement. And the walls leaked after a number of years of heavy precipitation in Aberdeen and wet conditions. Books had to be moved out of the basement for their protection. The children's reading program was there. The footing around the building is problematic today. Being on 2 floors is seen as a problem by some, especially when you consider that land is relatively generous in this area and that the 2nd floor is underground. Upstairs is almost bursting at the seams to keep all the available material and other needs met. Do we need a new library building? That's a question that's currently being debated by residents, both library supporters and those opposed, by the City Council, the library's board and staff. The library's foundation, or funding arm, has acquired $2 million and says it will donate it to building a new facility. And the city has gone ahead and purchased this lot across from the federal building for its construction. The city paid $710,000 for the lot, certainly an indication that the council wants to move ahead with a new library. Librarian Shirley Arment.
As of today, the city is waiting for responses to the RFP that they put out to architects. So once they receive that, an architect will come up with a plan, which the city commission will look at. That's where we stand. So we don't know for sure if there will be a library or not at this point. I feel like the space has been looked at time and time again here to see if it could be repaired, and that the decision was made by several groups that have been put together by the city manager that contained people from the city, people from the library, people from the city commission, that decided this library is not feasible the way it is and that it cannot be remodeled, and their choice was not to remodel it or try because of the water issues and other issues with the current building.
One of those speaking in favor of a new facility is Davin Johnson, who says it just makes sense considering the shape of the old building.
You know, the library, there's a lot of issues going on with the library. The roof, there's been a huge issue with the roof always leaking. There's been the tile around the outside. The inside, it's getting run down and it's old. Getting a new library would definitely help the population by allowing the education, the publicity, letting people know that, hey, there is a new library, could attract more users back to the library.
Mayor Mike Leveson says people and the council are still considering this. He says he hasn't given his okay yet since we don't have any plans to look at.
I have to wait and see the plans. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I'm not making any judgments on it at this point. The primary difference would be is that the library that we have right now, only half of the square footage there is usable. So if it was the same size, it would actually be double the usable square footage, because right now and for the foreseeable future, it's not practical to use the basement of that building.
There are significant numbers of people that think that we should simply remodel and fix up the current building. One of them is longtime resident Thom Black.
You can't ignore the financial aspects of it. Right now, the costs of building a new library exceed what we have available to pay off the bond. And so we have to weigh and balance whether or not we want to go deeply into debt, spend more than $10 million so we have a brand spanking new library, or can we make a fiscally responsible investment, improve the library we have, and still get 90% of what we need in a new, modern, beautiful library without the extravagant expenses of a new facility. Well, I think our library staff has done a fantastic job with the programming that's in our community. Whether we renovate this facility or build a new facility, it's my proposal that we still have a very beautiful facility in the end. My proposal would suggest that we would make a significant investment in this facility, make it beautiful, make it modern, make it technologically as advanced as it can be. The difference between what I want to do or what my proposal would be, and what the proposal that the city is, or the library board has, it's pretty minor. We do need some fixtures and furniture upgrades. We need a facade improvement. We need a basement that's dry, healthy, and safe.
The city is inching forward on this issue, likely towards building a new facility. But final plans aren't done, and looking at costs, consequently, aren't finished either. When the City Council voted in favor of purchasing the land, it was by a relatively strong margin. Mayor Leveson told us the soonest he thinks it could get started in building is late next year or possibly in 2016.
Coming up next on the Progress Report, we meet an Aberdonian with a wide variety of talents.
See what we can do.
Because Healthcare Plus is a member-owned credit union, dividends are paid monthly back to the members, which is an added benefit, both in savings and in checking.
One thing you'll find about the credit union here is that the people, they want to serve you and they want to do a good job.
In fact, we've recommended Healthcare Plus to a number of people we know that have joined and now have accounts with them.
See what we can do at Healthcare Plus Federal Credit Union in Aberdeen, South Dakota.
We all know what a great place Aberdeen is to live, but we need your help in spreading the word. Let relatives and friends know of the career opportunities that are available now. Job prospects are expanding greatly in our community. Major employers are now hiring with hundreds of openings. You can remind them that we also have a great city park system, superb arts and entertainment, and our educational opportunities are outstanding. The Aberdeen Development Corporation invites you to come write your story in Aberdeen.
Why does Pearson Ford continue to offer this area's best prices? There's one big reason. Fleet pricing on new pickups means you can save big dollars. Ford will allow you to get volume pricing of an extra 2 to 10% off when you purchase brand new F-150 and 250 trucks. And Ford Technology continues to provide vehicles that are 20% more fuel efficient than they were back in 2005. Plus, get great assistance for your driving, listening, and navigating using the My Ford Touch system. See us today at Pearson Ford, located in the Auto Plaza in Aberdeen.
Meet a Renaissance man from Aberdeen. Kim has the details on tonight's People You Should Know.
Meet Dr. Thom Flamboe, assistant professor at Presentation College. He grew up in Detroit, Michigan and attended college at Western Michigan University. After living in Wyoming for several years, he came to Aberdeen in 1982. He worked as a child development specialist at Avera St. Luke's and Dakota Midland Hospitals. He also worked as a child counselor at the United Clinic. Now he teaches several psychology classes and the occasional theater course at Presentation. He told us about his favorite part of working with students.
And that's the fun part, is when students start telling you, you know, that makes sense, like the light bulb goes on. And that happens frequently. And it's not something you get in the business for. It's something that you just enjoy. It's kind of like you're giving back. You know, the counseling in the mental health area has been so good to me, I got to give back. So it's fun when you have students come in and say, you know, I kind of like to do what you do. You know, I kind of like to work with kids or something like that. And boy, it's just, it's history. So that's probably the biggest joy of all.
He also does many workshops and other speaking engagements around the state and nation. In addition, he works with the Aberdeen Police Department doing assessments for incoming officer candidates and has participated in hostage negotiation training and situations. Outside of his professional career, he has also made quite a name for himself racing bicycles. He has won many medals in the state senior games as well as setting records in both South Dakota and Wyoming. He is also involved with the Aberdeen Community and Storybookland theaters. He has played many roles on stage over the years and has appeared in over 20 different productions, including directing a radio play version of It's a Wonderful Life. Thom Flamboe, one of the people you should know.
Coming up on the Progress Report, we talk with a new man at the Aberdeen Development Corporation office.
Your home is warm, comfortable, and welcoming. When your friends linger more leisurely, your family gathers more joyously, and your spare time is spent in pure relaxation. Since 1945, Malchow's quality and style, combined with our decades of experience, have helped you fill your house with dynamic new furnishings. We make it easy with design ideas. Our creative staff will come to your home with a free, no-hassle consultation that's sure to meet your needs. Malchow's, the look you love to come home to.
When you're looking for a great selection, Harsh has the cars.
For fantastic savings on exactly what you want, Har Motors is excited to announce the Bargain Center right on our lot. With over 30 vehicles and most of them under $10,000, there's something for everyone. Har Motors offers zero down and financing. You can't beat the Bargain Center at Har Motors.
Har Motors, Har's has the cars.
Joining us for the interview of the month is Michael Borkorny, the newly appointed CEO of the Aberdeen Development Corporation. He's replacing retired executive Jim Berenger. Welcome to the Progress Report, Mike.
Thanks for having me, Steve. Appreciate it.
Tell us just a little bit about yourself. Give us your background and et cetera.
Certainly. Well, I'm a South Dakota native, originally born and raised in Huron, just down the road. Graduated from high school there, came up to college up here at NSU, graduated from the School of Business, and bounced around a little bit with my wife and I. And then we decided, we were back living in Fargo, North Dakota, decided that the place we really wanted to be we're kind of where we started, back in Aberdeen, and everything kind of worked out where I ended up back here, ended up working with the NSU Foundation for almost 9 years, and then for the last about year and a half, been with Primrose Retirement Communities, and now on to the Development Corporation. Very excited to be there.
You tell us a little bit about what you did when you were with the foundation and then with Primrose.
Certainly. With the foundation, kind of did a myriad of different things, small staff over there, so you got to be well aware of what's going on across, but primarily major gift fundraising, working a lot with the investment management over there, annual fund, and really kind of working through the capital campaign that was completed over there a couple years ago, and administering of scholarships. In terms of my time at Primrose, I was the Director of Operations, which was really kind of overseeing the day-to-day operations of all the different communities across the United States.
The corporation has a set of goals, and no doubt you have a set of goals of your own. Can you run through just a little bit of what you know about them?
Certainly. In terms of the corporation as a whole, I think if you look at their mission statement and you know what Jim did such a good job of over his time there, and you know, we have to really appreciate what he did for this community, is I think just kind of to move forward with what they have, but also I think it's important that we need to look at and kind of develop maybe a new set of goals or adding to the existing ones, and specifically what those are. Kind of hard to tell you yet, since I'm not really technically starting until the 11th of August. But I think from an outside kind of looking in yet at this point, be the continued growth of job and opportunities for those folks here in Aberdeen. And also for those folks, you know, if we're able to recruit a new company here, something along those lines, you know, people to move here to Aberdeen.
Okay, let's talk about personal goals.
Certainly. I think personally, you know, we just want to move forward. I want to move forward with an agenda that is aggressive. For those that know me, I tend to try to hit home runs. I'm not much of a singles and doubles hitter, although I know it's sometimes okay to have some runners on base when you hit the home run. It counts for more runs, obviously, that way. But personally, I think I'm just really looking forward to an opportunity to work with the existing staff, the existing board, and just really building upon the success that Aberdeen's had, especially over the last few years during my time here that I've had firsthand opportunity to watch. Just continue that growth and make Aberdeen even better than what it is today.
Aberdeen, in attracting new businesses, might be being held up a little bit by a lack of a large labor supply. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us what your feelings on that are, and if there's anything can be done about it?
Well, I think you pretty much hit the nail right on the head, and I can also tell you that that problem's not unique just to Aberdeen. It's a problem and challenge that a large number of communities are having, specifically here in the Upper Midwest. A lot of growth here in the Upper Midwest. I think in terms of what we do about it is we first need to do a couple things. The first thing is we need to define really, you know, what we as Aberdeen really want to do. Where do we want to grow? How do we want to grow? And what are the requirements to make that growth a reality and happen? I think an advantage that we definitely have here in Aberdeen is that we have a town of, you know, roughly 26,000 people, but we have 2 universities here, a university and a college. Most towns our size do not have that. A lot of them don't even have 1 university. We have 2 very excellent universities, both kind of specialize in different areas.
The state also has a great effort at trying to grow business in the state of South Dakota. How much help do you think they'll be for you?
Oh, I think they'll be a tremendous asset. I know that I have not personally spoken to them after, since I was appointed to this position, but I know that that'll be one of my priorities in the first couple weeks is to reach out to them and begin that conversation.
Agriculture is the biggest industry in South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, is there a way to grow it into more for the state?
Oh, I think there's absolutely no doubt about that. Everything from the ethanol and the soybean processing and all that sort of things. We've seen some of that grow in and around Aberdeen. I think now the next challenge is to make sure that Aberdeen, the state of South Dakota, continue to be on the cutting edge of whatever the next step is in that arena.
Yeah. Michael Borkorny, newly appointed CEO of the Aberdeen Development Corporation. Thank you very much for joining us on the Progress Report.
Thanks for having me, Steve. I appreciate it.
Next on the Progress Report, we'll talk with Virginia Tobin and Carol Rutherford about a new program to help feed hungry people in the Aberdeen area. Stay tuned.
If you haven't heard, Aberdeen recently held a ribbon cutting for the finest hotel in the hub city. Town Place Suites by Marriott is located adjacent to the Lakewood Mall. These gorgeous suites are extended stay facilities, but offer lodging from a night or two to special rates for weekly or monthly stays. Each and every unit comes with kitchen facilities, in addition to offering everything to please business travelers, families, or anyone who wants luxury accommodations at reasonable rates. Town Place Suites by Marriott, a block north of 6th Avenue, adjacent to the Lakewood Mall.
One place for all your insurance needs? Of course. See State Farm Agent Linda Shop. Call or stop by today.
On our chamber section tonight, we're talking about Table of Plenty. With us is Virginia Tobin, who represents Table of Plenty, and Carol Rutherford of the Aberdeen Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, ladies, to the Progress Report. I really appreciate you coming.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Virginia, tell us, what is Table of Plenty and how was it started?
Well, Table of Plenty is a community meal, and it is open to everyone. Singles, young people, families, seniors, no matter what your color, race, or creed is, you are welcome at the Table of Plenty. And it is a community meal. What our church does is we are the hosts and the facilitators. But what we do is we go out into the community and get people involved as sponsors and servers. And we've been very fortunate by the response we've gotten this year from service clubs and organizations and various groups who have welcomed the opportunity to become part of the Table of Plenty.
Okay, who can attend? Give us a little of exactly who you're expecting to serve.
Well, we expect to serve lots of different kinds of people.
Carol, the Chamber is going to be helping with this. How do you choose your volunteers?
Well, we have gone out into the community and asked volunteers, or anyone who comes and says, hey, we'd like to do a meal for you, are more than welcome to come and do one.
Okay. Virginia, remind us when and where the next meal is.
We have meals the fourth Monday of every month, with the exception of December, I think, when we go to the last Monday. Isn't that what we did?
It depends on when Christmas
Yeah.
falls.
But it's always the fourth Monday of the month. It's at Zion Lutheran Church, which is on the corner of South Main and Melgard Road. We start at 5:30 and go until 7. And the next meal will be Monday, August 25th.
Okay. Let's get into the funding a little bit more. Do you get assistance then outside of the church and just volunteer support?
No. Funding comes from the sponsors. So, for example, every single group that sponsored a meal this year, and just real quickly, we've had Kiwanis, Sertoma, Lane Transportation has actually sponsored 3 meals. We have Presentation Sisters, we've had Pri-America, we've had Centennial Homes, Pizza Ranch, the Zion Youth did do one. We're going to have the Rotary Club being involved. We've had NSU international students. We've had presentation faculty and staff. We've had the Lions Club, Central High School, community service workers, kids. And so all of the monetary support really comes from the sponsors.
Why don't you tell me, do you think that there's more hunger than is being met in our area?
I do. I work for the school, and you see it there. In fact, I would like to see this meal go to twice a month and get more organizations involved with it, because I do think there is a need in the community for that.
Okay, and where does that need come from? I mean, give me an example of the type of family that needs.
Well, you know, a couple
assistance.
weeks ago I was at a meeting in Brookings for Partners in Hunger, and the question was raised that they've heard that the face of hunger is a 70-year-old woman, because that age group has been on the farm and lives on Social Security. And the man who was speaking said, "Look in the mirror, that is the face of hunger."
We have very many proud people in our community who would not want any of us to know that they really need to have a meal. And that's why we want to make this a meal that doesn't have any kind of a stigma to it. And we want all kinds of people to come. It doesn't make any difference if you need the meal. It's if you want fellowship and you want some fun and you want to, you know, be in a faith kind of a based environment, you're welcome.
Okay, Virginia Tobin and Carol Rutherford, thank you so much for coming, ladies.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
As we said, the Chamber is currently taking nominations for the 2014 Abby Awards. Awards are being given in agribusiness, bridge builder, community involvement business, community involvement not-for-profit, customer service retail, customer service, health and wellness, manufacturing and professional services. To nominate a business, call the Chamber at 225-2860 or email info@aberdeenchamber.com.
Next on the Progress Report, Kim and I will discuss the Table of Plenty.
The Aberdeen Progress Report is sponsored by Celebration Entertainment, the industry leader since 1998.
When we enter Kessler's, we come with certain expectations. We expect to be at the best store in Aberdeen, and we expect it because that's what they've always been. The store you enter today at Kessler's is born of tradition, whether we're talking about the freshest produce with a huge selection to pick from, or meats that are second to none anywhere in the nation, and prices that are always reasonable for the best quality you'll find in Aberdeen. Kessler's, there for you for over 70 years.
Table of Plenty is really a great effort that the people are making so that we don't have as many hungry people. And it's been going pretty well for them. But they could use some more volunteers to help too.
You bet, Steve. If you can volunteer or provide any sponsorship funds, please call the Chamber or the Zion Lutheran Church.
If you or your family or friends don't catch the initial broadcast run of the Progress Report on KSFY TV, there are now 3 different ways to view it after its initial airing. As always, you can go to the Midco Cable TV service on its video on demand capability and just go to Video on Demand, choose Free Local Content, and then pick the Progress Report. It should start within about 10 seconds.
To see it via the internet, you'll find our new site easier to use. Just go to this website, AberdeenProgressReport.com. Be sure to write it as one word before the .com. You can watch the current episode with just one click, and the past shows of 2014 are also available for playback. Thanks for joining us tonight. Steve and I will see you next month on Saturday, September 6th, following KSFY's late evening news. Our production crew, our sponsors, and Steve and I are very thankful for you joining us on the Aberdeen Progress Report TV show. Good night, everyone.
This has been the Aberdeen Progress Report. News, issues, and ideas concerning the Aberdeen area. The Aberdeen Progress Report is produced by Kaleidoscope Media, the Aberdeen Area Chamber of Commerce, and KSFY Television.